Hey everybody, this is Al Johnson from the Al Johnson Show, and as promised, here, ladies and gentlemen, here is my review, my spoiler review for the new MCU Disney Plus series Wonder Man, or should I say Marvel Television's Wonder Man. This was executive produced by Destin Daniel Cretton and stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and Sir Ben Kingsley, or should I say Oscar winner Sir Ben Kingsley. It was it was released on Disney Plus with all episodes intact, all 8 episodes, January the 26th of 2026. So basically a week or so ago. I believe a week ago. And I will admit, I've heard this show was coming for like I think a year or 2 years. I think 2 or 3 years ago, this show was announced, and me personally, I was looking forward to it primarily because of the people involved, mainly Destin, Yaya, and Ben Kingsley. Excuse me, Sir Ben Kingsley. Better be respectful of the title. Mainly because of those three names, I was looking forward to, and plus, I was aware or starting to be aware of the character Wonder Man and its ties to the history of Marvel, but was also kind of intrigued about what direction or where they could go. And surprised if for me when the show was developed and conceived basically as a meta look at the world of Hollywood and how they handle acting in franchise films or superheroes. And that Simon Williams, like in the comics, is a rising actor or a rising actor. And also, speaking of Yahya Abdul Mateen II, he's not a stranger to comic book properties. Famously, he's been in DC twice. He played Dr. Manhattan in the HBO Watchmen sequel show, the sequel to the comic books, not the movie. He played Dr. Manhattan. And I remember hearing about Yahya Abdul Mateen II, where he appeared in that infamous Black Mirror episode with Anthony Mackie. And then he was in that reboot of Invisible Man. And then, of course, also in DC, in a different form of DC, he was the villain Black Manta in the only two Aquaman movies in the Zack Snyder DC universe. And like I said, he was Dr. Manhattan. And now here in Marvel, he's playing the character Wonder Man, or at least Simon Williams. And then with Ben Kingsley, he was coming back as Trevor Slattery, the infamous fake Mandarin from Iron Man 3, who then came back in Shang-Chi, where in Iron Man 3, he was still loved, but the twist with him as the fake Mandarin is lauded by fans, even still to this day. But when he returned in Shang-Chi, people was happy to see him. And then I remember when the footage was showing how Simon Williams was going through this audition to get the role of Wonder Man, because there was going to be this new Wonder Man movie in the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And apparently also, when I remember, James Gunn was going to introduce Simon Williams within the Guardians of the Galaxy world, and Simon Williams was going to be played by Nathan Fillion. But obviously that changed to where we have Simon Williams played by Yahya Abdul Mateen II. And to get it out the way, yes, in the comics he was mainly white, but a version of him in the comics, which the MCU is basing it on, he's a black man. I'm not going to be trying to push with it. I don't care that they race changed him. I just care that, oh, this character might be something interesting. I might like the character. That's all that matters to me. I don't read comics, so I'm not burdened with that knowledge like a lot of people. I just want to see what they would do. And then for like 2 years straight, the show was sitting in Disney Marvel's vault. And it was just revealed recently that the show could have gotten the Batgirl movie treatment, where it was just going to be just sheltered, locked behind a vault, and the footage would be deleted, and we would never ever see it, and it would just be a tax write-off. Like, oh, we'll get a tax write-off. We'll save some money there. But the creatives of Wonder Man saved it. Said, no, 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 release it. This has to come out. People need to see it. Marvel's like, okay, you say so. And now it has come out. And yes, it was a binge release. It was not a weekly release. But there were great positive word of mouth. There was great critic reviews. There was great footage, great acting moments. But we need to see the show itself. And I did see the show. I saw the show the whole day. I believe that the Friday after it came out, I saw throughout the whole day, the show. And overall, I really, really enjoyed the series. It was a beautiful thing to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe tackling Hollywood and superhero fatigue and all that mess. To see someone like Simon Williams wanting to succeed and wanting to play a dream role. I believe he said to his agent Janelle, I was born to play this role. He saw the movie in theaters when it was re-released with his dad. And I remember showing how, like, okay, this could be an interesting character. But what was more interesting, and the department was like, are they going to tackle it at all? And yeah, it does show in the MCU, he does have powers, just like the character from the comics. From what I read briefly, he has ionic energy level powers where through emotion or whatever feelings, he can make big old explosions. And of course, he has super strength, he has super speed, and he has invulnerability. Basically, he's indestructible, if you will. And in the comics, Baron Zemo experimented on him and gave him powers. However, in the MCU, they've taken a different approach to the character. And the running fan theory I keep seeing online is that Simon Williams in the MCU might, keyword might, be a mutant. No joke. Simon Williams might be a mutant in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And what is the whole deal with mutants getting their powers at teen years? Because that's like the ordeal with mutants who gets powers. It happens during puberty and it happens out of emotion, whether it's fear or what have you. Those are like the main two commonalities with mutants in Marvel Comics. They get their powers during puberty and it's out of emotion. And in the show, it explores that Simon got his powers because there was a kitchen fire in his home as a teenager, and his powers just came out of nowhere. Even when he told Trevor, I don't know where his powers came from, I don't know how it happened. It's been like this my whole life, and I wish it would go away. And I enjoyed how they tackled Simon's powers in this, because yes, it's an MCU show, but it didn't feel like an MCU show. And there's been times throughout the series where you did see the powers on display, but it wasn't the main focus of it. The main focus of it was this actor and this other actor trying to get this role of Wonder Man. And not being around the bush, the acting was phenomenal. The set design, the production design, the cinematography, it was breathtaking. It was beautiful. I have aspirations of being an actor one day. And of course, I've heard the lingo in Hollywood amongst videos and other things and news topics and what have you. So when they do Hollywood and MCU, and like they have some certain lingos, like Josh Gad, who has an appearance in this show in the 4th episode, how he says, oh, he's doing this movie called Cash Grab. If you know, you know how movies, mainly sequels and reboots and remakes, are just cash grabs. It's just easy money to make. There's no creativity, no originality behind it. So a heist movie called Cash Grab is hilarious. How they reference Deadline.com. Oh, Deadline says they're looking for this face. This actor was contacted by Deadline to be in this. Or they're saying how, what a callback is. Simon's brother Eric Williams, who in the comics is a character called the Grim Reaper. He basically described a callback as basically an interview to a job you might not get. A callback. And the biggest takeaway of Wonder Man is the camaraderie, the bromance between Simon and Trevor. From episode 1, when you see Simon going over his lines, he's preparing for a small appearance in an American Horror Story episode, but overthinks a lot and gets fired. And he meets up with Trevor Slattery, and throughout the show, they start to form a bond. But Trevor Slattery is forming a bond with Simon because he's basically being a snitch for the Department of Damage Control, because they think Simon Williams is a threat due to his powers. And even there was a bit in the show where the people that work at Damage Control are talking about how, we're having budget cuts, the funding is being lost, and our prison is half empty. If y'all watched the show and y'all understood all that, that was, considering what's going on right now, touchy subject. And as I briefly said, the show might hint at Simon Williams being a mutant, and I might get to that in a separate video along with what Damage Control is doing. But also, this show was surprisingly funny, but it was funny in an organic way. Post Endgame, the MCU humor has kind of teeter-tottered on, okay, that was good, to that was not good. And more times than not, it turned out to be not good. But for Wonder Man, it was good because it was appropriate for when the occasion called for it. And like I said, the way they used Simon's powers was brilliant. And in episode 4, there's this episode about this character named Doorman and how he got his powers, and how because of some incident that happened while filming a movie with Josh Gad, how basically Doorman's powers is he can open portals through his body. And while filming the sequel to Cash Grab, Josh Gad's like, okay, I'm gonna go through you and I'm gonna get to the other side of this face. When he went through Doorman, Josh Gad got trapped and he's been missing. And now there's a thing around the internet that Josh Gad is still missing. And it's because of that incident, there's this now thing in Hollywood where superpowers are banned on set. Nobody can audition for any roles in movies or TV if they have powers, because it would be an unfair advantage. And now Simon Williams is having to navigate that because he has powers, but he has to hide that. But again, I'll get to that in a separate video. But yeah, also, like I said, I really liked, and also the suit, the Wonder Man suit Simon Williams got, even though it's for a movie role, which is like movie suits in comic book movies, looks amazing. And I also love the way they ended the show where Simon Williams, he finally got Wonder Man. He's this big movie star. He can have any project he wants, and he pretends to infiltrate the DODC as a security guard, like, I'm doing this research for an independent project. But he did that to get his friend, because he bonded with Trevor. They have a camaraderie. And once Trevor, before then, told Simon what's going on, and Simon was upset by it, Trevor's like, I figured out a way to save your life. And he pretends to be the fake Mandarin again to save him. And I know that's going to have a whole lot of consequences for what Trevor did to protect his friend. And even that, Simon with his powers gets Trevor out of jail, and who knows what will happen then. And I really, really hope a second season happens. I really, really hope we get a second season, because I enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for when I do a new ranking of the MCU Disney Plus shows with Wonder Man will be on the list. And thank you all for watching. This has been my review of Marvel's Wonder Man. Thank you all for watching. I've been Al Johnson, and you're not. Deuces.